think 5 are deceased, so we have 72 left. Pretty good turnout, 33, 34, 35, something like that. And on behalf of my class and myself, I want to thank Randy and Colleen for opening your house to us last night. You guys put on a great party. Thank you. Next week is going to be a sad day. We're going to be getting rid of the rest of our belongings. A house that I lived in, that I called home for 58 years, is going to be accommodated by another family. This community has been very good to my family, my brothers, and you guys have opened your arms to us. And it's going to be a tough day. We'll get through it, but I want to thank you guys for being such a community to our family. After Dad passed away in, what was it, October 17th, it was 90 years that there was a Scherr that lived in this community. And that ended on October 17th of last year. It was a tough time for us. We're going to move on, but my brother and I decided we're going to be the first ones to come home. We started going through the belongings and stuff like that. Get rid of what we needed to get rid of and keep what we needed to keep. My oldest brother David decided he was going to come home a day earlier. So on my way home the next day, I called him up just to see what was going on. He said, "Wayne, you're not going to believe this. I worked until about 5 o'clock last night. I came home, or came downstairs. I had $50 in my pocket. I went down, had a pizza, a couple drinks, and woke up the next morning, put the same pants on, I put my hand in my pocket, that $50 bill was still in my pocket. And I thought, you didn't pay your bar bill." And I told him that. And he said, "No, there were people buying me drinks, I didn't even know who they were." And that's Napoleon. I told him that's exactly the opposite what happens to me, because I gotta come home, I gotta work for a couple days and pay my bar bill from the last time I was here. Anyway, about 2 or 3 months later, all of us boys decided to come home and start going through things and just do a little bit of bonding and get things ready for the sale. And the next morning we went to the White Maid to have breakfast, and I go up to pay for our breakfast. And we had this young little gal that took care of us. And when I go up to pay for the breakfast, she goes, "It's already taken care of." So I look over my shoulder, and it's that table when you come in the White Maid, and it's that group with a bunch of bits and some farmers. I look over my shoulder, and I'm kind of scanning them, thinking, these guys are way too tight to buy us breakfast. So I look back at her again, and she points across the street and says, "The Hardware, Chucky Weigel." We go home and we start loading the trailer from Anita's Attics, because we sent most of the belongings over there. And people came, and they offered to help. And about mid-afternoon, there was 2 ladies that stopped. They were going to go home and change their clothes and help. And none of us 4 boys even knew who they were. That's what Napoleon, to me and my brothers, is all about. It really is. And I know everyone has stories about being a small world. We do. We live in a really small world, especially the community of Napoleon. For some reason, 700 or 800 people that live here, it just seems like somebody knows somebody no matter where you go, whether it's 1,000 miles or 2,000 miles, you can start talking to somebody, or you'll even meet somebody from Napoleon, but somebody knows somebody that you know from this community. And the last thing I have, Bob, you're going to not do this when it's getting, you're not doing it. Okay, this last story I got to tell, because it was very recent. I was going to make a connecting flight out of Chicago to go watch one of my horses run in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Anyway, I see this guy with a cowboy hat on in the airport. And I walk up to him and I sit down beside him. He's an elderly man, probably close to 80 years old, whatever. I'm not trying to offend anybody that's over 80, but he was around 80 years old. I go up to him and I say, "You got horses?" Because he's got this cowboy hat. I thought there's a chance he might be going to watch these horse races too. And he goes, "Yeah, I got horses. I'm a rancher in Oklahoma, and but I'm going to see my grandsons in Arkansas." And he asked me where I'm going, and I told him I got a horse running in Hot Springs, and you make that conversation where all of a sudden he's trying to fill each other out, and he asks where I'm from. And I just said, "I'm from a small community in North Dakota." And sometimes you can tell, sometimes you just drop it and that's it. But he pursued and wanted to know, well, where we're at. I said, "It's just a small town between Bismarck and Jamestown, and 25 miles south of there." "Well, what's the name of the town?" And I said, "Napoleon." And he goes, "They're really good for their wrestling there." And I said, "Yeah, and I want to know, how do you know that?" He said, "My grandsons wrestled in Oklahoma." And I started thinking, you know, we're known for more than just our wrestling. He did catch my attention. So I thought, I'm going to start throwing some names out there. So the first name I threw out there, I said, I grew up with a guy that was North Dakota College Athlete of the Year. He excelled in 4 sports in college. He's been inducted to probably every sports hall of fame there is in North Dakota, but wrestling, Bob Piatz. And he goes, "Sorry, I've never heard of that guy." Anyway, so I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to try Joey Schmidt. I said, "Okay, you got a guy that played for Lawrence Well." I love this stuff. I have a classmate, Joey Schmidt. He played for like Lawrence Welk for a little bit, right? And Keith Whitley and Vince Gill, and recently with the last 15 years with Ellen Jackson, plays keyboard for him. He goes, "Nope, I've never heard of Joey. I've heard all the other guys, I've never heard of Joey Schmidt before." So I go, "Well, we've got this really beautiful lady that was crowned Miss North Dakota in the mid-70s, Georgia Becker." And he goes, "I really don't follow pageants. I'm not really familiar with any of that." And now I'm starting to get a little bit whatever, and then I think about, well, he's got a cowboy hat on. This guy's got to be a farmer or something like that too. And I tell him, I got another classmate that's one of the biggest grain bin erectors in the upper Midwest, Kyle Eagleheart. And he goes, "Nope, I'm a rancher. I don't even own a grain bin on my property." So I thought, okay, how about the Wald boys? They could take their teeth and dig into the bottom of a 5-gallon bucket and rip the 5-gallon bucket off or whatever. And he said, "That's really amazing, but I don't know them either." So now I am getting to the point where, who else is there? So I go, Bernie Marquardt. I caught him, he picked his hat up and goes, "Isn't he that crabby old bartender that lives in the downtown